All right, well, are we ready to get started?
I don't know. How's everybody doing?
Let's just get started.
What?
I'm going through a lot of changes, and I want to enumerate those changes.
My body is feeling different.
Yeah.
Want to ring the bell?
I'm taking it back. I'm taking them all back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm a loner, Daddy. Rebel. I am the walrus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast, where my friends prevent me from making up a totally false story and calling it a biopic, and instead force me to watch movies.
Correct.
I feel like there's some behind-the-scenes stuff going on.
That's right. This week we have with us Eric Largent.
Tally ho.
We have Chris Arsenault.
Everybody Wing Chun tonight.
We have Colin McMillan.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
And we have James Barrow.
He asked for a yam, and he says, no way. Na 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 na. That hypocrite eats 2 yams a day. Na 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 na. You gotta fight. Na na for your rice. Na na and family.
All right. And I'm your host, Jonathan Barrow.
Done.
And this week we watched Ip Man.
Yaman. Uh-huh.
Yes. An occupying Japanese general challenges Chinese men to duels to prove the superiority of the Japanese. But Ip Man refuses to fight at first. I love that description. I love it. It's
Goddamn.
perfect.
Right.
Everyone
right.
is worse than the last.
I know.
Except when he starts yelling to let him fight 10 guys right now. Yeah.
Starring Donnie Yen, Simon Yam, and Louis Fan. Directed by Wilson Yip.
That's
Interesting
right.
side note. I'm just going to steal this one right out of the gate.
What, Ip Man's original name is Yip?
Well, there's that. But
Yeah.
no, I was
Yeah.
going to say the choreography was done by Sammo Hung.
Yup. Yup, Sammo Hung. He's back, everybody. And wait,
That's
I
right.
just remembered what I wanted to do as my, instead of tally ho, is going to be I'm one with the force is with me.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Well,
that was a thing he did.
yes. I actually don't know what you're talking about. But that's okay.
Donnie Yen is in Rogue One.
I haven't seen it.
And he's like a Jedi fanboy. It's weird. He's like a Force worshiper. And when I saw Donnie Yen in a Star Wars movie, boy, was I stoked to see Donnie Yen be a Jedi. And then he wasn't. And I was very disappointed.
Gotcha.
Very
Well,
disappointed it describes Rogue One.
It's not that bad.
As
But,
is John Hates Movies tradition, the person who picked the movie gets to review it first, and that is Colin.
Hello! Thank you. As you mentioned in your little intro, yeah, let's just get this out of the way. This didn't happen. What happens in this movie did not happen.
Were you telling me that Ip Man didn't bring all of China together to fight off the Japanese?
No.
No,
And
that didn't
this
happen?
exhibition with with a Japanese general who is a Shotokan karate master also didn't happen. Yeah.
Um,
That didn't
Ip
happen at
Man
all.
didn't have a bad life during the Japanese occupation. He actually stayed rich.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so first, going into this is really not historically accurate in the least. Not that most of us in America really know that much about Chinese history in the first place, so you're probably not going to really lose much because of that in your enjoyment of this movie. This is the third time I've watched it, and I've watched parts of it several other times, and I still really enjoyed it. I think that this is a great fight movie, if not a very good history lesson. I will admit on repeat viewing, there are some parts that are a little cheesy. They got some very cheesy slow-mo bits in here. Some parts where they're trying to obviously make a very serious movie, and it just seems a little heavy-handed. However, from my background in stage combat from when I was in my 20s, one of the things I always look at is how fights are done in movies. And it's certainly worth watching just for the martial arts. First of all, Donnie Yen is ridiculously fast. He's very good. He's really enjoyable to watch in all the fights. And honestly, I think he's a pretty enjoyable actor anyway. when they don't write parts for him where he doesn't do anything. So, what I also appreciate about the way the fights are shot is, even though these guys are all very fast, because Donnie Yen is really, really fast, which is a Wing Chun thing. It's a very fast, conservative style. A lot of the things are tight to the body, so his fists are moving very fast, and they're usually not covering a lot of distance. But the way that they shoot this and edit it, you can clearly see everything that's happening, and they hit all the beats in all the fight scenes really, really well. There's a great fight towards the beginning where he just fights some bandit guy who rolls up into town beating everybody up. And that fight is so much fun to watch because the bandit guy is doing everything that you would have seen in a movie like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is a lot of wushu, wire fu, jumping around, flying, throwing the sword up in the air and catching it and whoosh and everything. And Donnie Yen is, of course, all Wing Chun. It's all tight to the body. It's all very efficient. So it's this really neat kind of thing where it's this is not a wire work movie that you're going to watch because this dude was the real deal. Even though what happens in this movie is not at all the real deal. Yip Man was a really good Wing Chun martial artist. So, if you were going to take this from a historical accuracy standpoint, this is just a movie that's about patriotism. It's really about. This is almost a nationalist, go China, woohoo! I'm a serious Chinese man. It's like if they made a movie about Sam boxing against Hitler. It doesn't really have any truth at all, other than that, Sam Adams was a badass dude, and we all know that name. He fought some bad guys.
Well, yeah, this is like the Japanese version of Captain America.
It's
the Chinese version of Captain America or Superman. It's
Rocky IV.
It's nationalist propaganda that
incorrect.
people like, regardless of whether it's nationalist propaganda or not.
It's not Rocky IV, James, and I'm going to tell you why. Because
I haven't seen Rocky IV, so yeah.
Okay, well, those of you who have, listen up, because this shit's going to blow your mind. I'm going to tell you about a little movie called Ip Man 2, in which Ip Man, who has another bro martial arts master guy, he attends an exhibition where a foreign boxer comes to show off his skills, and Ip Man's martial arts bro gets up to fight him because he's full of pride, and the boxer accidentally kills Ip Man's friend in the match. So Ip Man trains and has to defeat the boxer for China. This is not Rocky IV. Ip Man 2 is Rocky IV. It's scene for scene Rocky IV, which is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, it's the same kind of feeling. It's here's this cool guy, and he's fighting for China, and we can all be proud to be Chinese. And that's really cool. And it's still a pretty enjoyable movie anyway, although this time I definitely smelled the propaganda. There's a character I find really interesting. That's the character of the interpreter, which I think is one of his story is, from a legit writing standpoint, what happens with that guy is probably the most legit story in this movie. Not necessarily a great character, likable, he's not a hero or anything, but his journey where he's he's interpreting for the Japanese because he's trying to preserve his own lifestyle and help people out in his way. And then he just gets the shit beat out of him. And eventually, of course, he gets killed. But basically nobody respects him the whole time because his countrymen think he's a traitor. And the Japanese just think he's some Chinese chump. So I noticed...
Does he get killed?
No, he doesn't.
No. He kills the other guy. I'm sorry. Yeah. I got my wires crossed. No. He finally, inflicts some violence on that one dude. If you have seen a lot of kung fu movies, you're probably really gonna like Ip Man. But then again, if you've seen a lot of kung fu movies, you've probably seen Ip Man. If you haven't, I highly recommend giving it a watch. If for no other reason than the fights are all pretty dope. Yeah. I like in the last fight how it's basically just it looks like it's going to be a knockdown, drag out, typical end of movie fight, and then he just beats the guy's ass. And I find that very satisfying. I highly recommend it still. It's not a perfect movie. It's got some flaws, and if you're looking at it from a critical eye, there's some obvious, this didn't happen in this kind of just propaganda. Still recommend it. I really enjoy it.
Great.
Cool.
So who wants to jump in?
I saw this movie before, but it was great watching it again because it gave me some new material for my upcoming album, which is all going to be historical atrocities set to party anthem music. So
Sweet.
You got to get a little sample with "You Got to Fight for Your Rice." All right. Anyway.
My favorite part of your bad jokes is you like reeling from not getting laughs. It's like what happens after you don't get the laugh.
Oh yeah.
Like that's my favorite. That's my
I'm
favorite
against
part of your
ropes. I can't handle it. Like, no, you didn't get it. That was a joke. No. Yeah. Besides, you guys chuckled a little bit at it first time. I'm good.
Would chuckle again.
Yeah. Yep. But no,
chuckles are fine.
Mm-hmm. This is definitely. I love this movie. I saw Ip Man 2. I love that too. I don't know. I like a lot of these type of kung fu movies. There, of course, there's some that are like way too cheesy, and I really can't get into like what fucking Iron Monkey or something like that.
Iron Monkey is pretty cheesy.
Yeah. Like, it can go overboard, but, like, this really stays in that sweet spot for me. I also, of course, love Legend with Jet Li, but, you know, same kind of wheelhouse as that thing, you know, like, not too serious, not too overwrought, but just good enough with the seriousness and just enough really good kung fu fights to kind of pull you in. And I'm kind of a sucker for those drums and that string instrument, yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, it always kind of gets me in the feels spot watching that stuff, and God,
it's a feels instrument.
It totally is. But just watching,
just like the banjo.
Different feels.
Yeah. I was thinking more slide guitar.
No, fucking accordions feels music too.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Have you haven't lived until you heard Smoke on the Water played on an accordion? All right.
Or is it that you don't want to live after you've heard?
Same difference.
You only live until you've
there
heard
you go.
Smoke on the Water out of the accordion. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I knew a person who studied a lot of Wing Chun and stuff like that. When I saw him do his stance, like his fighting, you know, the neutral stance that they do, it looks goddamn ridiculous. But
the horse stance where they're kind of like bow-legged and stuff.
Yeah, their legs are apart and like their knees are forward. Literally, it's like Urkel, but you put your hands to your sides, and that's the Wing Chun stance. And exactly. But it's just so awesome to see him do like the arm moves and stuff like that. How like fluid it looks and everything.
The water bending.
Yeah, the water bending. But nonetheless, watching it again, of course, I noticed that there were like points where he was doing the speed bag move, or the sound was going, but like the hits weren't landing.
Fire Nation were still dicks in this movie.
They were. It was awesome to like watching this and being like, oh yeah, Chinese movie, and then all of a sudden like hearing some shit I understand. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. You get to hear a lot of spoken Chinese next to Japanese and realize like it sounds completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this movie was in Cantonese, so it's not even the Mandarin that most people hear when they hear Chinese language.
I watched it I watched it dubbed, which is kind of hilarious, but I'll get to that.
Oh my! I didn't know that was even an option.
Chris doesn't watch these Netflix movies on Netflix.
I watched it on Netflix.
What?
Yeah,
I think you can set
there's
for
a
that.
dubbed option.
What? You can do it? You can have it?
I didn't
turn
know
on
that.
subtitles because it still had all the Chinese characters like explaining from scene to scene. But there's a Cantonese version, a Cantonese in 5.1, English in 5.1, and stereo version.
Huh.
Yeah, always check the.
Oh, I do. Because I was in no mood to read last night.
So, according to my Chinese friend that I talked to about Ip Man last night, since most Chinese movies are made in the South where they speak Cantonese, like in Hong Kong, like most Chinese people just watch everything in subtitles, no matter what, whether it's an American movie or a Chinese movie. It's just subtitled.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess watching it the second time, I noticed the Hirohito stand-in. Like that guy was such a caricature of Hirohito,
dude,
Mr. Ratface,
dude.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
yeah. But yeah,
I have some material on that.
And the other dude, like, he didn't, like, he looked like he was, like, South American or something. Like the Japanese general.
Yeah. He didn't look very Japanese.
At all.
He was pretty ugly.
Yeah. But, oh man, I love...
You could tell he didn't look Japanese because he didn't look like the rest of them.
Oh, boy.
Well, but the rest of them were racial stereotypes.
Yes.
Like, I mean... I guess we don't have to wait. This is kind of a racist movie.
Yeah. I didn't catch that before, but I caught it this time.
Yeah, being because they all look the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eric literally didn't catch that. Okay.
No, I didn't. But...
All right.
Because I don't.
Racist jokes for a racist movie.
The other thing I was going to say was the fucking bandit guy. He's so cool. Like, I just want to see him in other movies and shit.
Yeah,
and I love his
I wanted
heel
them
turn.
to team up.
Like how he does not only like the I'm a cool badass thing really well, but he also does the oh shit now I'm a coward. Like, what the fuck's going on? Oh goddamn, now I'm a coward. You know, like
he also likes to blame others for his problems.
Yeah.
I like when he first gets his ass beat and he leaves and he just has this look on his face like, well, shit.
Yeah.
He's like, what am I going to do now?
Start another fucking dojo, seriously. Like, nobody's
Really?
stopping him. I mean, he beat everybody but the main dude.
Right, and if you open a place in Foshan, according to this movie, and your tagline
My
is...
style beats 4 out of 5.
Right,
Yeah.
like, well, in this town, if you open a dojo and said, I beat everybody but Ip Man, people are going to sign up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ip Man won't teach.
Yep.
That's right.
So, like, I almost beat Ip Man. Just put that on your sign. People will flock. But nonetheless, yeah, like, I loved watching this movie, but, you know, just like the first time, the extremely rapid transition between the good life before,
dude,
and the
it was like a little montage of like now everything went to shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
It's
tell,
like-
don't show.
Yeah, exactly. You expected like some music to go, like sometimes you wanna go.
Like they don't even show the Japanese people roll in or anything.
No.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
show
No, nothing.
They
This
don't
was
show
like
anything.
no, there's no show there. I think that maybe they were making 2 different movies and they just squished them together.
Maybe I don't know, but nonetheless, it was really good. And the first time I watched this, I thought I saw something that watching it again, I realized didn't actually happen. Was at the very end fight when he's fighting the general. I thought he speedbacked his face like against the pole, and like we saw his like face kind of like go all mushy, like dough, like Play-Doh, like it looked like yeah. I thought I saw that, but apparently I totally made that up in my mind. So
No, I remember that too. I thought that he pulverized his face, and when I watched it again, I was like, wait, he doesn't pulverize his face, like he bloodies his face, but he machine gun punches his sternum. He doesn't.
Yeah.
The whole like turn your face to mush thing is not in this movie. I wonder, it must be in some other similar movie.
Maybe it's in Ip Man 2.
Maybe it's in Rocky 4.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I really like it. I guess if you like movies that I would like, then you should watch it.
All right.
All right, yeah, I'll get into it.
Good.
So I like this movie. So going into it, well, yeah, I guess you could stop listening to my review now because I just said I liked it, but no.
Yep.
3 out of here's my review. 3 out of 5 stars. Now let me tell you why, and everybody just tune out.
Yep.
Because they've already got the quantifiable review out of me.
The data's been collected.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Going into it, it gets off to a little bit of a slow start. Like there's the fight at the beginning between him and the other master is good. I like that other master's whole purpose in the movie is just to get his ass beat at all times.
Yeah.
And like when he's fighting the bandit guy that rolls into town, he gets his face fucking kicked hard.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like the actor, like you can see the guy's face like take an impact. Like when it's not just like you see the foot next to the face and hear like a sound effect. Like the dude got kicked in the face.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's there, and it was pretty cool. But the whole point of that guy was just to get his ass beat, and then get shot.
Yeah.
Well, he beat some Japanese ass before he got shot.
A little bit, yeah.
Even the guy who only gets his ass kicked can kick the ass of these Japanese chumps.
Yeah.
Go China.
Right. That was cool. Then when the two brothers are like arguing out in front of that shop, that's some of the most like high school hyper dramatic acting that I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hey, like just like screaming at the top of their lungs about like just like really melodramatic bullshit over a thing that's not really dramatic at all.
That was like old school Hong Kong action theater.
Yeah, it was not good. So I didn't really care about that. Ip Man's wife character is tricky. Because in the beginning, she's only there to scold Ip Man for being Ip Man. Yeah. And then at the end, like when she's driving or when she's getting driven away, she's like, I should have known better all along. He was so talented, and I, so yeah, the wife's character, maybe a little. I don't know. When was this movie made?
2008.
Okay, that was maybe like a 1980s sentiment there. Like that was out of an action movie from the 80s, like how kind of naggy and one-dimensional the wife was. Like that, not great.
Yeah.
However, to me, okay, so the scene where Ip Man fights the 10 guys in the Japanese like camp. Yeah. That's the scene of the movie. By far. That's where this movie like makes its money. That's where it makes its point. Like him in there fighting 10 guys, and you've seen in the other fights that he does that he's not really like incapacitating these people. Like he's not fucking putting bodies on ice. He's just fighting. Right. He's just stopping the fight. Yeah. Like he's just getting the fight done, or he's just like making this end as nicely as possible. Right. But when he gets in with those 10 dudes, he's fucking putting bodies on ice. Like he's snapping arms, snapping legs. Like he's
the leg snap is
he's fucking brutal. Canceling Christmases. Yep. Like, and it's cool because you've seen his demeanor through like previously in the movie be like somebody who's not really going to hurt somebody. Like he just wants to win the fight and not get hit. But once he's in that scene, he's fucking hurting people, and it's good.
Oh, like when he's pulling punches and saying hit against the one dude, and then you see him just like straight up break that dude's leg in that big. It's like, whoa!
Well, right, like even when he's fighting the outlaw. And the outlaw is like really trying to hurt him. Right. Like he's got a sword out and shit. Like Ip Man's not even trying to hurt him. Right. Like he's pulling his punches.
Yep. Like grabs a feather duster.
Right.
Mom says if you don't start fighting, everything's gonna be broken.
I'll pay.
Yeah, I love I'll pay. Even the bandit's a bro. Like every Chinese guy in this movie is a bro. Like, the bandit's like, hey, I didn't come here to break your face. I'm really sorry about that. I just came to exert my dominance.
So outside of the fighting sequences, which in this movie, obviously this is a kung fu movie and it gets the kung fu great. Like the kung fu is so good in this movie, it's worth watching. The scene outside of kung fu in this movie that they do very well is when he teaches the cotton mill to be able to do a little bit of Wing Chun, and it's like they can't even fight. Like none of those people are good fighters all of a sudden. Yeah. But what he really gives them is the mindset to be able to like stand up for themselves a little bit. Because when the bad guys roll into the cotton mill, none of those like ladies working at the cotton mill scored a fucking hit on any of the bandits. Like they're all getting bipped in the face. They're all getting punched in the face. Oh, like middle-aged ladies getting punched in the face by bandits for trying to make some cotton. But they're not just rolling over. They're like taking some shots and they're keeping on going. Like that was kind of the whole point of it, is he turned their morale around, and it wasn't that they could beat people up now. It's that they had the ability, or they had the mindset to be able to stand up for themselves. Mm-hmm. And that was effectively done. That was a great scene. Yeah. So when I mentioned to my friend last night that I watched Ip Man, he was like, "Oh, propaganda movie," because he was born. I think he was born in China. I know he lived in China for 8 years, and his parents emigrated to the United States, and. So and we kind of talked about like how anti-Japanese and how nationalist propaganda this movie was, and I out of I don't know, curiosity, I was like, yeah, how do your parents feel about Japanese people? and he was like they don't like it when I go to sushi restaurants. Like they give him shit for eating sushi. Like that's how that is.
Right.
So I see, like, I don't even know if the anti-Japanese sentiment in this movie necessarily was intentional, or if it's just reflective of how all Chinese people feel about all Japanese people.
Oh yeah, like maybe the point of this movie wasn't to hate on Japanese people. Maybe that's just how they do Japanese people.
Yeah.
Wow. I hadn't thought about that.
That's a possibility.
I mean,
if you find somebody who's from China that likes Japanese people, that'll be the first time I've ever heard about it.
Wow,
Ever.
interesting.
Well-
because I mean, we have a lot of Nazi bad guys in our movies, of course.
Well, right.
But we don't really hate German people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
we weren't occupied by
Yeah,
Germany,
of course,
though.
yeah.
And I mean that's a different. It's
That's
different.
true.
Well, it's really
American
funny. Is
like,
the
has no
Japanese
antecedent.
Polish.
The Japanese portray the Chinese as a bunch of dumb hicks. Like
Yeah.
they make fun of the Chinese and their shit too.
Like Polish people aren't mad at Nazis. They don't like German people. like it's, yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't even know
I
what
don't
the
think
point
the
is.
French are
I
too
was
fond of
just
them either.
there wasn't even really a point there. It just came up, so I
No,
said
it's
it.
interesting. Something interesting to
Oh,
think
that's
about.
good.
Because I honestly,
Yeah.
I just viewed it through the lens of a war movie.
Yeah.
Like, these are the bad guys because they were the bad guys at the time.
Well,
Not,
and the bad-
fuck the Japanese.
Well, the bad guy in Ip Man 2 is British, and the British also occupied China for a while.
Yeah.
And the bad guy in Ip Man 3 is American.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
well,
As I understand it, as it's been explained to me before, none of the countries like any of the other countries. And even within China, the North versus South.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a
but
thing
look,
too.
United
Yeah, well, we do the
States-
same thing.
Yeah.
We do the
Oh, yeah,
same
we
thing. In,
Just ask James how he
here.
feels
Yeah.
about Southern people.
They're handy and awesome.
Okay.
Yep.
I hate the
They're
Southern
banjo
states, quite
fucking
frankly.
good. Sorry.
They
Anyway,
can go pluck themselves.
Anyway, Ip Man, if you are interested in watching a good kung fu movie that has really good some other good elements to it other than just the kung fu, this is a good one for you. It's more than just a beat 'em up kung fu movie, and it's good.
Fantastic. So that leaves Chris and myself. Chris, do you want to jump in?
Sure.
Take us home.
Good. All right. Good.
Well,
I appreciate
so
that.
I have watched Ip Man 1.2 times.
Oh.
As it
Oh.
turns out, I did start watching this movie like ages ago because Netflix remembered.
Was that the 0.2 times?
Yes. So, from the perspective of a kung fu movie, it is really enjoyable. Really good fights. Like, all of the fights are good. Its biggest problem is its lack of cohesive scene change,
Yeah.
or that it doesn't do a very good job of what's the word where you in film where you explain more?
Exposition.
Exposition.
There you
Yeah.
does shitty exposition. So like his wife is sick one day, so he goes to work. And he gets home from work.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
She's
what happened
fine.
with that?
Apparently that ugu was so good.
You know what?
Yeah,
Good
man.
point, because that one just like dropped through the floor,
Right.
like they fucking pulled
She's
a
just
trap
home.
door. Like that plot point was gone.
Right.
That one was over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess a yam is good for being
Right.
sick. I don't know.
Yeah, I love that. He gives her
yams.
half a yam and then goes, "Wash your face first." I'm like,
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes. Wow.
oh my
No,
god.
okay, no. I think he said that because he knew because she saw the punches on his hand, and he went down to sit in the courtyard, and he knew that they needed to have a conversation, and he was saying that like, just give us a moment before we go have this conversation.
Right.
That's what I took that as.
Oh,
That
okay.
makes the most sense. I really didn't read into anything other than I was confused by it. I assumed it was a lost in translation sort of thing. I mean, the movie is very enjoyable. For a movie, I don't know how good it is. For a kung fu film, it's actually exceptional. You know, there's a story that's good enough to keep you going, although they're a little over dramatic at times, but literally the drama exists only to put him in the situations at which he can actually
Yeah.
excel, because as we learned from as the character the character is incredibly dynamic, but we only ever see so much of him for most of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We see this honestly, I wouldn't say stoic, because he is excitable about the fights, but he's passionate about the fights, but he is honestly a pacifist.
Yeah, he remains pretty stoic until he realizes what's going on with the Japanese.
Right.
Maybe reserved is a
Reserved,
good word.
yes, because he's perfectly happy to be in a fight, but he has no will to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
He's just so good. He's Usain Bolt, you know.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Usain Bolt
Like,
has
there's-
said that he's never run as fast as he has because he's never had to.
Right. And he is the fastest human that's ever existed.
Right. So
Sidebar. People give Usain Bolt shit sometimes for like how much he celebrates, and like he starts celebrating before he even wins the race. If you're the fastest human in the history of the world,
Yeah.
if I were the fastest human in the history of the world, nobody would ever stop hearing about it. Ever. Like, like he has the most reason to brag of anybody of all fucking
if you're fast
time.
enough to make it to the end and throw a party before anyone else can cross the line, you deserve it.
Let everyone know about it. I am the greatest there ever was, and possibly the greatest there ever will be.
Right.
When you are undisputably the best by a long shot, it's okay to feel good about
Like nobody
that.
else is even close to as good as him, or has ever been even as close to as good as him. Yeah,
And that's what was missing from Ip Man is touchdown dances after every fight.
Being the perfectly reserved person that he is, he certainly knows his own ability.
the feather duster was celebrating before it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true.
There you go.
The feather duster was fucking Ip Man, like
that was
celebrating
like
before he
taunting,
crosses the finish
yes.
line. Yeah,
That was
There you
pretty good, though. But yeah, when he's forced to a point of enraged, that
he just starts fucking
the
people up.
floodgates open and there's
fucks
nothing
shit up.
stopping him.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
fucked.
That was awesome.
I appreciate that the primary use of wire work in this movie is to propel people away from him after he punches them.
Yeah, the choreography was
that's,
excellent, and
Yep.
it wasn't a lot
Yes.
of over the top. It's not crashing tiger, hidden dragon, jumping from tree to
I
tree.
appreciated
And I
that.
appreciate
Yes.
that too. It's a lot of,
Yep.
I mean, not all obviously, but the majority is like just the physicality of the actors.
Yep.
yeah,
Particularly Donnie Yen, right? Donnie Yen.
Yes.
Mhm.
This isn't the
yeah.
one that put him on the map
No.
for the West, is it?
No.
No, actually, I believe the one that put him on the map actually was Iron Monkey,
Gotcha.
which James mentioned earlier as being terrible.
Yeah. It's super cheesy.
It's really cheesy. It's funny, but it's really cheesy.
But this movie definitely never gave me a point where like I just was bored or like this is dragging or this is too sappy or any of that I wanted to turn it off. It
What
did
about when-
run kind of long though?
It did. What about when Ip Man was like, I
Yeah,
have
it's a little
no
long.
purpose. I can't really do anything.
That
When he-
lasted for like 13 seconds.
I know.
It's like, I have no purpose. They're killing my, they're beating my father to death. Oh no, let me run.
Yeah.
Why don't you teach us? Wing Chun, I have purpose. It's going to cost you. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Oh
like
yeah, it's because I'm the only one that watched it dubbed. The dubbed voices are okay. Most of them are pretty are solid, but there are a handful. Like I'm like, was that Chinese dude Australian? There are a handful that are terrible, and I think at least one or two where they had a kid doing literally doing the lines by it had to be like a producer's son or something. It was doing the lines by like sounding them out.
Oh no!
That's
Yeah.
funny.
You like my Wing Chun style, mate.
She's not an X-Men. Not yet. Come on, X-Men, we've got to stop Juggernaut. Snick, snick. I'm Wolverine.
So, yeah.
That's the Australian dub of X-Men.
No, it's like every cartoon of Wolverine up until the 90s Wolverine,
Wolverine
he was played by
Australian
an
for
Australian.
some
Really?
reason.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends had Wolverine in a few episodes. He was Australian,
Yep.
as was prior to the X-Men.
Why?
The
I bet it was
non-picked
just
up
some
pilot.
American dude that was like,
Yeah.
I was thinking about trying something different with this guy. Listen to this, snake, bite, and they're like, whatever,
Yeah.
man, just record it.
Could have been.
A Canadian accent would have been a little too subtle, I think, for one of them.
Always apologizing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like
I just
they
stabbed you in the
should.
face.
Sorry, bub.
Sorry.
Would you like a donut?
Would you like a fruit roll-up?
Man,
We're thinking about going down to Tim's. You want to go with us?
Yeah, come on. Let's get a sandwich.
Get a double for me.
double decaf, Boston cream. It's
Got
all
me a
right. We're all
couple of
doing our
bear
Timmy
claws.
orders. All right, so Chris,
Yeah, I'm good. I mean,
how far away from the microphone can you get?
I don't like. I would recommend people watch it because it was enjoyable for the fights.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, but let's face it. If you're going to watch it, man, you're probably going to watch it for that reason anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like I have to warn people off. Oh no, it's over. It's kind of melodramatic. It's historically inaccurate. Nobody who's
Yeah.
watching really cares.
Right.
No, they're there for the
Have
fights.
at it. Enjoy.
You're
Kung
gonna
Fu
watch it
fighting.
for the fights,
like how-
and then you're gonna go, and the rest of it wasn't that bad either. You know?
It's like how most people watch NASCAR. They only watch for the crashes.
Yes, but at least in Ip Man, there's some guaranteed fights as opposed to NASCAR.
Yeah.
Maybe one accident if you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
lucky.
Well, I'm gonna
What do I think about Southern people?
I'm gonna tie us up here a little bit.
Dale
The one
Earnhardt
thing-
or Justice?
The one thing that
Jesus Christ.
oh boy. All right. So I'm not
Sorry, listeners, I started it.
That's okay. So I'm not 100% sure when it comes to kung fu movies exactly how I'm supposed to watch these things. So I feel that there's a part of me that might not be able to frame these movies correctly, because for me I was bored to tears during every part that was not fighting. But that's usually how I am with all of these kung fu movies, or, even to an extent, and this is sacrilege to some, but things like Godzilla movies and stuff.
No, man,
No.
you got to watch this movie the same way you watch all your shitty superhero movies. It's the same thing.
It really is.
It's just a few okay set pieces between the fight scenes.
Yeah, okay. I can
Yeah,
get that.
yeah.
I can get that.
I mean,
First to get your Cheez-Its and your coffee.
the only thing, the stuff that makes this notable is that, like, in your typical kung fu movie, fights start because people, like, bumped into each other on the street, or they're like, you call this soup? It's way too hot. And then they just, like, start punching each other, and then they're both main characters for the rest of the movie somehow.
Right.
You know?
And I mean, I guess there's a part of me that definitely gets that, because I definitely enjoy them. I think, when I this is not the first time I've seen Ip Man. I've seen it actually a couple of times because the choreography, the fights in it are absolutely fucking amazing. And if I want to see a kung fu action fight, this is one of my go-tos.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know if it's packaging, but this happens to me, and this has happened to me ever since, like, sort of the late 2000s when this movie came out. And I don't know, when did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon come out?
It was like 2000.
Yeah, it's
2000?
like 90,
Okay.
98, 99.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that came over and that caused a huge splash over here and everybody and their mother was going out to see it in the theaters, it kind of falsely gave me an impression that a lot of these kung fu action flicks were moving beyond the 1960s, 1970s style of narrative and into kind of a more modern storytelling where the action was more directly interwoven. And they still package a lot of the trailers like this, like a lot of the Detective D trailers. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those, but the trailers look like they're a Western joint. But when you actually sit down and watch the movies, they're just as fucked up as the rest of these kung fu action films, where it's like really bizarre, fast jump cuts, exposition all over the place, high drama, and then, you know, either some really solid fights or really not solid fights.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of how I feel that I have to measure this movie. I have to measure it in that context. And if I measure it in that context, this is probably one of the best ones. Hands down.
Right on.
If I measure it in a context where, you know, I take the movie as a whole, this is not really all that great.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah. But the fights are absolutely amazing. We've all agreed on that. And if that's what you're looking for, you really can't do better than this film. Now, I haven't seen any of the other of the sequels, but I heard Donnie Yen, or I read when researching this particular film after the fact, that Donnie Yen was particularly proud of the choreography and action sequences in Ip Man 2. So I'm definitely going to be giving that one a shot.
The action is very good in Ip Man 2. The movie's just a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
There's
mean,
definitely some action pieces that are a little ridiculous. But
True.
It doesn't quite go over the line of some of the bad stuff.
Also, if you're looking for something more like the storytelling style of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you might want to try House of Flying Daggers. If you haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Okay. That's more in that style.
I was going to say, like, these kung fu movies, they tend to go either one way. They either go Iron Monkey, which is, like, super ridiculous, really cheesy, super goofy. Or they go hyper drama, like way too soap opera, shit like Hero.
Oh yeah,
You know.
Now, I for a while I was just absolutely obsessed with and now I can't even remember the legendary guy's name, but Jet Li played him.
Wong Fei Hung.
Well, yeah, Wong Fei Hung.
Yep.
Jet Li played him in a bunch of shit, and Michelle Yeoh played his mother in a couple of these. But I was obsessed with all those. Like,
Yeah, he's in Iron Monkey also as a kid, and I think Donnie Yen is his dad.
Oh yeah, I've seen Iron Monkey. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love those. Even though they were
Yen plays,
ridiculous and over
Wong
the top.
Fei-ying.
But yeah. So that is pretty much it. We've all said our piece, so we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the game.
Woohoo!
Hooray!
Tally-ho, John Hates Movies listeners, it's Eric Largent with a quick reminder of how you can find us. The best way to stay appraised of all of our activity is to follow us on Facebook at John Hates Movies. There we'll post all of our new episodes, as well as whatever we're feeling interested in at the moment. Please subscribe to us on your favorite podcast service, like iTunes, Stitcher, or Podcast and Radio Addict. If you subscribe to us on iTunes, please leave us a comment. We read every single one, and they're much appreciated. You can also follow us on Twitter at John Hates Movies, or follow me on Twitter at Eric Largent. Now, stay tuned for the game and find out what movie we get to watch next week. And if you're feeling adventurous, watch along with us and leave us a comment on Facebook telling us what you thought of the movie. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is now time for your favorite part and mine. It is now time for the game.
Woo!
You may have noticed that there was a Wahoo missing. That would be because Chris has...
The usually very excitable Chris about these things.
Yay.
Yay. That is because Chris unfortunately had to spontaneously combust, and he is now dead. So...
It's a shame, really.
Yep.
I always
Moving
hated
on.
you, Chris. I always hated you the most.
So disappointed. He owed me $5. Just kidding. I'm happy. I owed him 15.
So, as is John Hates Movies tradition, the person who picked the movie also gets to run the game. So that would be Colin. Colin,
right.
What are we doing?
Well, it's a Colin game, so it's themed trivia. Woo!
Yay!
Wait, no, just kidding. Actually, this time I've come up with something a little different. In honor of our love of kung fu movies and martial arts, we are going to have a big martial arts exposition tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes! You have all gathered here, the finest fighters from the world, to compare fighting styles and special moves to see who is the very strongest. Since I have killed Chris with my stinking cabbage fist, I will be playing in his place.
Wonderful.
Oh,
So this is how Kung Fu Fight goes. It's an elimination match. Me and James are going to fight, and Eric and John are going to fight. Whoever wins those two respective fights will go on to the finals, and whoever wins that is the winner. Unless it's me, because I'm running the game. But anyway, just fucking whatever. Okay. So the way this works is the duel begins. I'll announce who goes first, and you will call out your super special martial arts style. Now, since we're all martial arts masters, we know lots of different styles.
Of course.
So the next person will call out their style as a counterattack, and then the first person will call out theirs again, and back and forth and back and forth. Whoever runs out of ideas for styles or laughs first is the loser. Alternatively, in matches that I'm not involved in, if you make me laugh a lot, I may just declare you the winner.
ooh.
So we're gonna start with James and myself. James, are you ready to do Kung Fu battle?
Oh, I hope so.
All right, then. You will be making the first move. Round 1. Fight!
Then I hit you with my southern poop job style.
Well, fuck. Well, I was going to count. I counted. Okay, round 2. Round 2. Southern possum style.
I counter with Brokeback Jewelry style.
And I counter with woman stinging scorpion.
I hit you with the shoe fuck. Okay.
Well, that
I am a good kung fu guy.
well, that trumps
I'll
my
have to tell you the story about that later.
that trumps my horse rides man style. So you are the winner, James. You are the winner of the first fight of the Martial Arts Expo.
Yay!
Gong.
With my shoe fuck style.
Yes, with your shoe fuck style. All right.
Oh, Jesus.
Meanwhile, on the other end of the tournament grounds, John and Eric are preparing for their match. Bow to each other.
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
ready?
Yes.
The first move will go to Eric. Round 1. Fight.
John, I know that you are no match for my poutine gravy style.
Eric, I am afraid your poutine gravy style will be deflected by my greasy fingers KFC style.
Ooh.
John, your greasy fingers KFC style is absolutely no match for my riding lawnmower style.
Oh.
But can you defeat my George Takei stands too close style?
Absolutely I can, and I will defeat it with my Van Gogh's dissected ear style.
Ugh.
That will fit nicely in my oversized novelty Christmas mug style.
Your oversized novelty Christmas mug style is no match for my Hot Sauce Studios funky dancing master style.
Wow, you barely got that one out. I declare Eric the winner of this. Oh, it was close though.
I was trying to hold it in, but I couldn't.
Oh,
I
was
tried to
was
hold it in.
That was quite a long bout, you two. Was that round 1 or 2? I can't
That was round
remember.
1.
All right,
That was round
all
one.
right. Eric wins.
Oh!
Round 2. Fight. John, you're first.
Oh, it's best out of 2?
Yeah, best out of 3. We believe it or not, James and I went through 2 rounds and he won them both.
And
Because
their
I
2 rounds
suck
didn't
at
last
my
as long
own
as
game.
our 1 round.
Yes, exactly. I'm not good at my own game, so forgive
Fair
me.
enough. Fair enough. All right, Eric. It is time that you face my old lady had an accident style.
Your old lady had an accident style is merely the first step down the road of the check the dipstick style.
Yes. Well, your check the dipstick style has nothing on my 5-point pedicure.
Oh,
I lost it.
John,
Damn it.
your 5-point pedicure exploding heart technique style has no match for my cowboy only wearing spurs and nothing else style.
Well, you've already won, sir.
Eric, that was his finishing move. Fatality. All right, it's time for the finals in this martial arts expo. It's going to be Eric versus James.
Me and James have to try not to make eye contact while this is
Yeah,
happening.
don't look at each other.
I know.
Hot Sauce Studios is about to explode in martial arts mayhem.
I know.
All right, James goes first. Round 1, fight.
Eric, you must face my flying car of the future style.
James, your flying car of the future style is no match for my broken chips at the bottom of the bag style.
Oh, it's a style of sadness.
Your broken chips at the bottom of the bag is disappointing compared to my cake on the grill style.
Your cake on the grill style. Hold on. I was not laughing at that. I was laughing at how bad that one was.
No! James wins round 1.
No!
Yes, James wins round 1, but you can still pull it
I'm
back.
too
Eric.
accustomed to pity laughing.
You can never take pity on your opponent.
Oh, I
Eric.
get, okay, well there you go.
All right, Eric has learned a valuable lesson. All right, round 2. Eric goes first. Fight.
James, right out of the bat, I'm going to hit you with the my patented guitar string as a G string style.
Whoa.
That is a tricky style, but I feel I can defeat it with my party rockers into 4 style.
Your party rockers into 4 style doesn't even stand a chance next to my Edgar Allan Poe Telltale Heart punch face style.
Your Edgar Allan Poe.
What? That was the same laugh that I did.
Damn it.
Oh, Eric wins round 2.
Okay, last final round.
We're both
Final round.
We've both gotten through on pity laughs from the
Yep.
other one.
I was like, God damn it, you're reading the fucking books behind me. This is not fair.
Oh no, it's a looking around the room game.
It has
Okay.
become that.
Oh shit! I fucking drank a
Combatants.
Mountain Dew during this podcast, and I'm like lightheaded. I
Oh,
never
no.
had this much sugar and caffeine at the same time ever.
Nice.
All right, combatants, gather your strength. Focus. Take a minute before the final round of this martial arts expo. Are you prepared?
Yes.
All right. Eric versus James. James goes first. Round 3. Fight.
Eric, you must stand against my rumbly jumbly style.
Standing against your rumbly jumbly style is easy because I have my falling leaves over still water style.
Ooh.
Your falling leaves over still water style will pair nicely with my Dale Earnhardt justice style.
Your Dale Earnhardt Justice style has absolutely no chance against my. It has absolutely no chance against my Calvin peeing on the cross style.
I'm sorry. That was a good old laugh. I'm sorry.
know,
James, do you have a finishing move?
I will go with 5 guys on your face style.
Oh, fatality. James.
God damn it.
Wins.
Satisfying.
Well done, James. You have won.
So, James, you've got to pick a movie.
Alright, guys, I know exactly what we're watching,
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
and I will suggest this as a double feature, but you don't have to.
Just like the Island of Dr. Moreau and Lost Soul double feature that you did for us.
Yeah,
God.
but nonetheless,
Oh,
this
Jesus.
other one, the second movie will not be nearly as long. I'm talking about, of course, about Hugo, and once you watch that, watch Journey to the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I have seen
Yeah.
Journey to the Moon.
The old,
Yeah.
Yep. Well, once you
Yeah.
watch Hugo, you will understand why. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I get it.
What's Hugo?
Cool.
Hugo is a movie about a little orphan kid who lives in a train station. But it spins out to much more than that.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I've seen it. I liked it.
I have not seen it.
And
So-
that's my review, so I won't be here next
Right.
week. So.
Yay!
What? Chris is alive? How'd this happen?
Hey!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Next week we are going to be watching Hugo, and then
And then Journey to the Moon?
If you want to. It's up to you.
if you want to, you can watch Journey to the Moon with us.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night.
A great big thank you to our staff graphic artist, Tabby Walters, the Weekly Cast, and our listeners. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, through YouTube, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. Every third episode is Listener Appreciation, where we choose from your suggestions. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies YouTube channel, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say...
Hey there, John Hates Movies listeners. It's Eric. Don't be alarmed. Contrary to what you may have heard on this week's episode, Chris is not dead. In fact, he's here with me right now, hanging out. He's very much alive. And we were just talking about our favorite movies of all time. Chris, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that. Speaking of the podcast, who's your favorite co-host of the podcast?
Fuck. Colin.
Oh, so I guess it's just anybody but Colin then. Huh. Okay. So you're definitely going to be on next week's episode, though, right?
Fuck you.
Okay. Well, you heard it from the man himself. Chris definitely alive and definitely going to be on next week's episode. So tune in.